Hello friends, hello professionals, and welcome back to my channel, The Sea of Regulation. My name is Simone Martin, and today I'm going to talk to you about business continuity plans under this series, The Basics. Now, the basics are designed for people who may not work in financial services regulation or in the financial services industry, but are curious and have questions, and hopefully I can provide answers. But before I dive into today's content, let me get my usual disclaimers out of the way. I am a financial services regulator. I am not a lawyer, and I'm not a professional advisor. And the views on this channel are definitely all my own. And they don't represent any regulatory authority or international standard setter. Now with that out of the way, let's dive in. Now if you've watched a few of my videos, this is probably going to look a little dark. That's intentional. You see, business continuity plans are what you plan for in the worst case scenario. It is the document that you must provide to your regulator to show how you will continue your operation in a disaster, worst case scenario. And it's almost like a manual for your black ops operation. How do you get in there and continue your business when the worst happens? And sometimes the worst does happen. And when I talk about the worst, I'm talking about a hurricane. And at the point in filming this, we are actually looking at the tropics right now. And I have personal experience in one of the strongest hurricanes in history. And a lot of service providers had to test and thankfully were very good with their business continuity plan. But you don't have to be in the hurricane zone to have a disaster. You see, you can have fire, flood, earthquake, volcano. There's actually a volcanic eruption going on in a particular country, and it's really hammering them in a way that hasn't happened for decades, if not centuries. So what do you do when your firm is in the crosshairs of a disaster? And disasters may not be natural. They may be cyber attacks. It might be a terrorist threat. It may be a number of things. We are living in a world that we're dealing with a global issue that in itself might require people to deploy their business continuity plan, and in a lot of cases it has. So that document basically sets out what your game plan is when the worst happens. And as the name suggests, it's a business continuity plan. It's a plan. But sometimes when a disaster hits, you have to improvise. And what we're seeing now in this world is that we have to be a lot more flexible as it relates to continuing our business in the worst of circumstances. So with a contagion, you can't necessarily have everyone crowded into your office. And so you have different concerns and different risks. People working from home, how do you secure your data? How do you make sure that their eyes that should not be on your information having access to your information? That's a form of business continuity planning. But regulators sometimes require a bit more for your business continuity plan. You see, for some firms, systemically important firms, these are the firms that are really big in a particular jurisdiction or can have a disproportionate impact if something were to go wrong. For those systemically important companies, such as a huge bank, if that bank has a huge market share in your jurisdiction, what happens if something goes wrong with them? Could spell disaster not just for the clients, but for the whole country. And so business continuity plans, at least from a regulatory requirement, now often requires you to have an exit strategy. And an exit strategy is essentially a nice words for saying, how will you shut down your business in an orderly fashion to create the least disruption? And it may sound a bit like a misnomer. Well, if I want to continue my business, why am I seeking to exit? Well, because sometimes life happens and you don't have a choice. That winding down your business might be the best thing that you can do to save your clients and an economy from undue harm. So I'm keeping this one pretty simple, but business continuity plans can be huge documents, and regulators do review them. And as over the last, I would say, 8 to 10 years, I've seen an increasing demand from them around the world. So if you have not seen your business continuity plan or you've not had a hand in drafting it, you might be curious about, well, what's my role in this? Because business continuity plans should also have how they're going to deal with their customers as well as their staff. So it's something you should sort of be aware of, especially if you work in financial services. But I'm going to stop it there. This is a short video just to give you some basics. If you liked it, hit the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I promise it doesn't get much darker than this. Make sure you hit the notification bell because I'll be back with more videos. And share with your friends. Because guess what? Everyone touches financial services, and regulators touch financial services often, and it would be good for anyone to understand how things work. So until my next video, I'll see you on the next one.